station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Straight ahead on the news at noon, former aide to Larry Hogan, it was a no-show in court after a warrant is issued. What we now know about that case. Plus, what the latest consumer price index report is showing when it comes to inflation, how it's affecting your wallet. And later, the Howard men's basketball team is getting a joyful send-off. What fans can expect as they prepare to make this week's debut in the NCAA tournament for the first time in 31 years. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Annalisa Gale filling in for Mark Hall. Today we start with meteorologist Damon Matson taking a live look now outside at the Capitol there at 12 o'clock. Damon, it was definitely so windy this afternoon when I left the house. You know, even the bin off my basket flew off. I had to put it back on.
I know, it's been wild, Annalisa. My car was shaking as I came across the Key Bridge. I mean, goodness gracious, it is blustery today, folks, and this is going to be a constant thing as we go throughout the rest of the day, so we're going to have to just be dealing with it. Check out some of those wind reports, the peak wind gusts so far across the area. Frederick, Maryland taking that top spot. 54 miles an hour earlier this morning with that peak wind gust. Washington, D.C. has already been up to 46 miles an hour, Dulles 47, and that's where some of those peak wind gusts are going to continue to be at, upper 40s to low 50s in the miles per hour range the rest of this afternoon into the evening as we are stuck in between that storm system off of the northeast coast and high pressure building in from the west. Here are those steady wind speeds right now. Leesburg, a steady wind speed of 32. Hagerstown, 33. And then when you start to factor in those gusts, yes, this is very much enough to shake your car around a little bit, blow around those unsecured objects as we have gusts exceeding 40 miles an hour currently in D.C., Leesburg, Winchester, and Hagerstown. So blustery indeed, and this trend is going to continue throughout the day. And despite the fact that we see a good amount of sunshine this afternoon, folks, it is going to stay very chilly. Air temps, low 40s. With the wind, those wind chills are going to be in the 20s to low 30s. So just be ready to bundle up. It's going to be cold and blustery the rest of the day today. So the big question then, when do these winds finally start to calm down again? We'll have a full check of the forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right. Thanks, Damon. Well, developing now, authorities are still trying to find a top aide who worked for former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan after he didn't show up in court yesterday. Our Joseph Olmo has the latest.
Hey there, you can call it a federal court no-show, if you will. You know, Roy McGrath, he had one of Maryland's top jobs. He went from having that to being charged federally for fraud. And now, after he was nowhere to be found yesterday, he is facing an arrest warrant. This is a photo of McGrath from his short stint as former Maryland Governor Larry Hogan's chief of staff. Now, before that, he was the head of the Maryland Environmental Service. He is charged with getting an over $200,000 severance payment from that agency as he made the move up into the governor's office. Now, at the time, he said Governor Hogan approved of this paycheck, something Hogan quickly said was not the case. Now, once all this went public, the news got out. McGrath resigned as chief of staff in August of 2020 after only 2 months on the job. He is also accused of embezzling another $170,000. Now, McGrath's attorney told reporters outside of court that he did talk to his client the day before he was supposed to be in court. This was on Sunday. He characterized that conversation as, quote, substantively productive, but then he was very shocked to see that his client did not show up about 15 minutes before he had to face a judge. Now, as for his client, Roy McGrath, once he was done with his job in Maryland, once he resigned from his position, he moved down to Naples, Florida. If convicted just on these fraud charges alone, he faces up to 3 decades in prison. Reporting in Greenbelt, Maryland, I'm Joseph Olmo, DC News Now. Back to you.
And DC News Now has confirmed that Collier County Sheriff's Office in Florida conducted a welfare check yesterday at McGrath's home. He was not there. We have also confirmed that the U.S. Marshal Service is the lead agency that's actively searching for McGrath this afternoon. Well, the U.S. Consumer Price Index report shows a slight slowdown in price increases from January to February. Still, according to the Associated Press, prices point to a heightened inflation rate. As of today, prices have increased an average of 0.4% from last month. February consumer prices rose 6% from last year, far above the federal government's annual inflation target of 2%. Restaurant prices are up 0.6%. Auto insurance is up almost a full percent, and hotels up 2.3%. Airfares soared to 6.4%, 27% more than last year, while used car prices are down 2.8% and the price of eggs down 6.7% in February. According to the Associated Press, the federal government pays attention to the core measures like food and energy costs as a gauge of inflation pressures. Also, according to the Associated Press, the feds could have unintentional help in its inflation battle because of the aftermath of the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank in New York. And in lower pace of lending could help the economy and slow inflation. However, it is clear the failure of the banks bring all new problems for the government. Developing now, 7 people have been displaced after a fire ripped through an apartment building in the Petworth neighborhood. DC News' Lex Juarez has a look at that damage.
You can see behind me how much destruction was caused to this apartment. The backside here is actually where that fire started, on the back porch. Now, it did take about 4 hours for DC Fire to get the fire out and also get any hot spots out. They were being extra careful to make sure the fire didn't spread to the apartment building next door, and they were able to keep it contained. While the fire was first reported just after midnight, initially, they came because the fire was just on the back porch of the first and second floors, but those flames did quickly spread through the building, and firefighters out here working until around 4:15 when they were able to pack up and go. Neighbors tell us that they heard, some loud pops from inside of the fire, and we spoke to some neighbors. They said that it was quite scary. Take a listen.
The guy was sleeping, but the fireworks, they say fire, fire, fire. And my neighbor, she knocked my door, and I get out.
Now, the 7 people who were living inside of this apartment home are now displaced, along with their family pet, a dog. Another pet that was inside of the home at the time of the fire has died. That was a cat, and another cat that they are still looking for. 2 people who live inside the home were hurt during the fire, but they are expected to be okay. In Washington, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
And right now, President Joe Biden is now working to confront the second and third largest bank failures in U.S. history. A senior White House official saying that Biden has privately said the government will not intervene in the failures like they did during the Great Recession in 2008. You may remember during those bank failures, Congress authorized billions of taxpayer dollars to rescue banks deemed too big to fail. Biden also announced his administration is working to keep other banks secure, fire bank executives responsible for those failures, and attempting to pass additional regulation. And the White House is assuring people their money is safe after Friday's failure of Silicon Valley Bank. It's the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. And President Biden also saying the U.S. is taking emergency measures to stop a potential banking crisis. Yesterday, Signature Bank of New York also closed. Some lawmakers say bank investors and executives are at fault, while others believe the Biden administration is to blame.
I have no sympathy for the executives, no sympathy for people who have stopped there. But the depositors are protected.
The Biden administration, they need to take ownership in what this economy is doing. They're the ones that have been printing money. They're the ones that have got a budget that keeps borrowing.
Meanwhile, Capitol Hill lawmakers say they want to get to the bottom of the failures to make sure that this does not happen again. Washington correspondent Jesse Chernur has the latest on the fallout.
A lot of us were panicking.
Following the second and third largest bank failures in the nation's history, customers waited in line to withdraw their money, and President Joe Biden assured them they would get it.
Every American should feel confident that their deposits will be there if and when they need them.
Regulators guaranteed all deposits at Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank and created a program that aims to shield other banks from a run on deposits. But now lawmakers are lining up to assign blame for the failures.
The president is not making it easier by basically just continuing to print money.
Republicans like South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman called the Biden administration's efforts a bailout. And despite the president's assurances that taxpayers will not bear any losses, Joel Griffith with the Heritage Foundation argued they ultimately will.
That is going to put more upward pressure on prices, and that is a
hidden tax, even if our government officials don't want to admit it.
This is not a bailout.
Democrats blame the collapse on Trump administration efforts to relax regulations on small and medium-sized banks. And Missouri Congressman Emanuel Cleaver urged Americans to stay calm.
And the members of Congress would just shut up in terms of trying to stir up even more confusion and fear.
While the federal government moved to protect everyone with money in Silicon Valley Bank, questions still remain, though, if problems will become widespread. Analysts say there was not widespread panic about large deposits at multiple banks because the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC, expanded insurance coverage for Silicon Valley Bank. They insured deposits of more than $250,000. One financial analyst tells us what this means for the everyday consumer.
If you have $10,000 in your checking or savings account, you are well under the balance of $250,000. Banks are already paying fees within the FDIC insurance pot to ensure that you are fully covered. So you're just not in that place of concern. The biggest concerns are for folks who are managing the cash flow of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So here's how you can protect your money. First, check that your bank is covered by the FDIC. Next, check your balance. You won't have to pay for insurance for deposits less than $250,000. Keep in mind, only checking and savings accounts are insured. The FDIC says investments like stocks, bonds, and crypto assets are not insured. The FDIC also says if your bank does fail, your insurance payout will come by the next business day at another insured bank or by check. Well, happening today, Howard University is sending off their men's basketball team in style. At 1:30, they're holding a send-off rally for the team as they get ready to head off to Iowa. This will be the first time the Bison have appeared in the NCAA tournament in 31 years. Coincidentally, the Bison will take on defending champions and 1-seed Kansas Jayhawks. The last time Howard was in the tournament, back in 1992, they lost to the Jayhawks. The Bison made it in the tournament after beating Norfolk State on Saturday by a point. Howard is one of just 2 historically black colleges and universities in that tournament. We'll have live coverage coming up at 1:30. See you there. Well, still to come, Governor Wes Moore is tackling climate change. That new governor plans to soften Maryland's carbon footprint. Plus,
well, we certainly know the wind is a factor out there today, but so are the cold temperatures. How low will the wind chills get, and when does it start to warm back up? We'll have a full check of the forecast after the break.